Dr. Lauren Wright is here, Associate Research Scholar and Lecturer at Princeton University. Hey, it's good to see you. What makes Glenn Youngkin so different that even Rupert Murdoch is willing to ask him to get into a race with 10 or 11 other Republicans?
You know, I'm shocked that in the total absence of data, the assumption of donors and elites here is that Youngkin would somehow disrupt everything and sail through a primary when you said yourself, you know, in your intro, you had to introduce who he was, remind viewers who he is. Most people outside of Virginia are not familiar with him. And so to say a wild card is the very least of it.
Boy, talk about raining on the lead of the show.
It was pretty harsh. And
wow. I feel like I'm a student in Dr. Wright's class. Yikes.
But then it took a turn. Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding. Wow. Okay. All right. So you view Donald Trump as the inevitable nominee and nothing matters.
Well, look, I mean, he's head and shoulders ahead of everyone else. And this is the Youngkin stuff is exactly what we were saying about Ron DeSantis when he pulled off a historic victory, the largest margin in 2022 and his reelection, 59%, even more than what Jeb Bush did in 2002 at 56%. People were saying very similar things about DeSantis in the absence of a lot of information about Ron DeSantis. And so I think there's a risk here of an information vacuum, someone jumping into the race at this late stage, and there's just not enough name recognition there when Trump is already far ahead.
Right.
Youngkin he has some additional issues too, but I get it. He's, you know, what he accomplished in Virginia is incredible, but it's what he accomplished in Virginia, not nationally.
All right, let me flip this around on you just a little bit, which is the Republican electorate, even the diehard Republican electorate, forget swing voters, say they want somebody other than Donald Trump. When you go out and talk to them, especially in Iowa and New Hampshire, South Carolina, the states that really likely are going to be able to decide this even before Super Tuesday, maybe even Nevada as well, they want somebody, or at least open to somebody other than Donald Trump. Trump-Biden unfavorability. Biden horribly unfavorable. Trump horribly unfavorable. Both way underwater. 70% of Americans say they want somebody else. So there is a desire for somebody else. You make an apt point in terms of Glenn Youngkin not having name recognition. But if you think about Rupert Murdoch, and this can go both ways, right? That either he actually can turn the Republican electorate with Fox News, the Wall Street Journal, and the New York Post, or it's meaningless.
It's just an unknown. He has about the same approval rating in Virginia that DeSantis has in Florida. People in Florida love Ron DeSantis. I think that's the best comparison. Yes, there could be a surprise. It really is the absence of information. You know, as far as head-to-head matchups, that would be absolutely unbelievably successful if Republicans chose a strategy in which they had a solid, popular governor versus Donald Trump. I agree with you. A lot of people would choose the alternative. At least 50 to 60% is what most polls show. Republicans do want an alternative, but there's 8 people on this debate stage tonight. There's 11 running. There are just too many alternatives splitting the vote into too many different low percentages for anyone to take a shot at Trump. So if it was Youngkin versus Trump, okay, maybe he'd spend a few months introducing himself to the American public. But in this environment, in reality right now, there are too many people. 8 is way too many to beat Trump.
Yeah. You know, we start each segment when we lay our segments out in the morning with a thesis statement. And I don't know, it's almost like a senior thesis. I feel like I at least deserve a gentleman's C? Come on.
Oh, sure you do. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. All right,
it was excellent. A clear thesis.
It's good to see you, Professor. Thank you. We'll talk soon. Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.